Hello and welcome to a very special edition of The Nines presented by AT&T. My name's Emily Perkins, you might know me as The Other Perks. And today I'd like to welcome Francois and Sebastien Laflamme, Cloud9 Vulcan's dad and brother. Welcome to The Nines, guys. I'm really looking forward to talking to you today.
Thank you, Emily. Very happy to be with you today.
So if I can just begin with you, Francois, can you tell me a little bit about your family and where you're from?
We are living from Sherbrooke. It's more or less an hour southeast of Montreal. We are a family of five, Sebastian, Philip, and Noemi, mom and dad.
And Sebastian, are you the older or younger brother? And what did you used to argue with your brother about when you were growing up?
I'm the older brother, and we used to argue about how to play the game because I'm actually also playing League of Legends, and as I was coming out with strategies for like funneling gold into oneself and split pushing and proxy and stuff like that, my brother was always coming up with strategies such as playing with his team and going sacrificing his gold to help his team, and I guess that's how he's pro. So. Yeah, that was
one of the questions I was going to ask actually is if you play League. So who is better, would you say?
Now it's still my brother, but I think I can still win 1v1 against him. So.
What about you, Francois? Yeah. What were they like growing up together?
They like playing a lot. I think they have a good synergy. They played League since they were super young. I think they played the first season of League, if I remember correctly. So I think electronic game was part of the family in their very early age, and they grew up with electronic games. That was part of their life.
So, how, as a family, did you support Phil and obviously your other children balance their school life and then the number of hours they were playing League of Legends or other computer games for?
Well, that's a big hot topic. That's a topic that was very intense in their young age because I would say traditional father. Where you have to have a good academy, good schoolship, you have to practice soccer, and then after that, and only after that, you can play online games. So I had to argue a lot.
Yeah, like you were more responsible of the work part, and I was more responsible of the gaming part.
So do you think they got the balance right, Sebastian, or not quite?
Yeah, well, I think we were. I was able to push Philip to play enough to become pro, and like we had a dream together of becoming pro, and he eventually reached it. So I guess we did it right. I think.
What about you, Dad? Did you ever play?
Well, I would say yes and no. I played like 2 weekends. Just realized that maybe I'm too old for that. The game is too quick, and I'm not a electronic gamer at all. I have some other hobbies.
So you've talked about you both starting to play computer games quite young, and again that balance right. How old was Phil when you started to realise that this was actually becoming quite serious?
Well, it's more of a gradual thing. He started playing when he was 11, and both of us had going pro in mind when he was 14. So like 3 years later, he started playing in season 2. So that's like around season 5 when he started. I actually considering becoming pro, and after we played some LANs together, he eventually was scouted by a team in Montreal, and he was invited to play in Dad's Gaming, which was his first actually semi-professional team. And from there on out, he actually won every event he did with the team, and he was eventually scouted into CLG, and yeah, slowly becoming a pro player. So it was not like a sudden thing; it was like more actually becoming better and better, and slowly climbing the ranks and climbing the pro journey.
Um,
to yeah,
And Francois, my husband was
Cloud9.
interested actually. He asked me to ask you this question. Did you know at the time that you could make money from esports, that he could actually do it as a living?
No, not at all. And I would say on my side that it was less gradually. I would say it was more as a shock for me to realize that the field is going to be earning his life on that. No, I mean, I didn't realize until the end that a pro player can live in esport. I mean, Sebastian was arguing with me all the time that they want to earn their life doing esport, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? That's impossible. You have to have a job, a regular job, a 9 to 5 job, and earn your life, and then after that you'll play games." It took me a long time to realize that okay, that's possible. I think it happens probably when Philip started to stream with CLG. Then I began to realize that okay, that's something that's possible. It happens. But yeah, that wasn't gradual. That was
So how did you manage his expectations, but still encourage him to follow his dreams?
I was concerned to add a plan B. At some point in time, Phil had went to college in computer science. He did a first year in computer science, and I was fully behind him. And for the second year, he was starting to be someone, I would say, in the league, and told me, okay, I'm gonna try 1 year to become a pro. My first reaction was a shock. I was not super keen, not super happy with that. But at some point in time, I had a good discussion with her mom, and she convinced me that I mean we should be behind him, and he should pursue in his dream. And from there, we were fully behind him, and was super happy him being part of the scouting ground, and been very proud too.
We're just going to take a quick technical break, so we'll be back in a few minutes. If you could just bear with us. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi everyone, thanks for bearing with us and welcome back. So we've just been talking a little bit about supporting Phil as he, encouraging him to follow his dreams. So Sebastian, how did you feel when Phil became a professional? Obviously, it was a dream that you had as well. How did that feel to you?
I actually, at first I was a little jealous, but I mean, I feel so proud for Philip. So we worked so hard for it, and I know for sure he's going to beat the Koreans and take a trophy back to NA for the first time. So yeah,
Definitely.
I actually can't wait for that.
What about you, Francois? How did you feel when he became professional?
That was awesome. Phil was one of the was the first French Canadian actually being on the stage. So that was awesome. That we were very, very proud of that.
That's lovely. Do you try to go to the events, and how does it feel to watch him as a parent or a brother?
I went to LA to watch him during a weekend on the LCS. That was for real. I mean, that's where we realized that's not only a YouTube or Twitch streaming thing. There's a crowd behind him, and there's real fans, and people are coming to him to get autograph and stuff like that. So we were like, wow, that's my son.
Oh, it must have. I can imagine if it was my daughter, it would just make. That well of emotion must have been incredible.
That was emotional, right? Yeah.
What about you, Sebastian? Have you been to see him play?
Yeah, but currently because of COVID, they're actually not even playing on stage, so it's impossible. But I eventually will go watch him play for sure, and can't wait to have him back on stage.
Yeah, so hopefully I think this Sunday they're on stage, aren't they? Yep. I think, yeah. So I know that I've been talked to a little bit about the toxic community within the League of Legends and things. And it's definitely not something that I've really experienced. All the communications I've had with fans have been really positive. But I just wondered, as a family, how do you support Phil when people might say things negative on social media?
Well, I actually don't say anything because I know that people saying this kind of thing are actually blind or trolling. So it's one of the two. So not even we're responding, right?
Same thing for me. I'm not responding at all. I'm not looking at any toxic messages or something like that. I'm only seeing the positive part of that, and I'm sure that Philip is not affected that much with those negative comments.
That's really good. Yeah, I think it's really important to just see that the most of the community are actually really lovely and really supportive of esports and the players. So that's really
Exactly.
great.
Exactly.
So
Right.
I just wondered then, Sebastian, how are you feeling about the finals next week?
Well, I'm very excited actually, and I can't wait for CMB trio. Well, maybe again TL or TSM, and yeah, I can't wait to see him beat another top 3 team.
Who do you think they'll be playing, TSM or TL?
I actually think TSM will come back from the graveyard, and they'll be stopped from coming back by Cloud9. I think it will be 3-1 Cloud9 against TSM.
Oh, cool. What about you, Francois? Any predictions?
Last weekend I was predicting 5-2. I mean 3-2. But Sebastian was right. It was 3-1, and I'll probably predict 3-1 with TSM too. I'm super excited to watch the next game.
I like it when they win quite quickly because it's on very late in the UK. So, and this time it's on a Sunday, so I've got to go back to work on a Monday. So I'm hoping for a very quick win. If you could oblige, that would be great. So just thinking about then, some people who are watching this are going to be parents. Because I am a teacher, I was really interested in if you had any advice, Francois, for parents who have children who want to make it as a professional player or maybe as a professional within the sports community, how they could go about supporting their children to do that.
Obviously, I mean, as a parent, you have to support your kids in your dream. That's a mandatory job. So being behind the kids, that's for sure, you'll have to do that. But at the same time, you have to balance. I mean, I'm old school parent, and I think that it's super important to have a life outside of the esport. The academic, the school is super important. Think as a plan B or as a plan A. And for myself, it's also important to perform in sport, in not only in esport but in physical sport.
What physical sports did he like to play, or does he like to play?
Phil played very well in soccer. He had a good early career when he was at school. Yeah, he had some interesting success in his early age up to when he decided to go to the league.
Do you have any thoughts about Vulcan not getting first in the All-Pro team? Either of you?
Not getting first?
Yeah. So I think Core JJ from Team Liquid was selected over him. Do you have any
Yeah, I
thoughts
think
about that?
that was a selection mistake. Obviously, my brother is clearly the best in NA right now, and second by Afromu, not actually CarGG. CarGG is actually third in my opinion, but yeah, definitely a mistake on their part, and they will be missing on the best player in NA.
What about you, Sebastian? Do you have any advice for anyone wanting to become a professional player and what it sort of takes to do that?
Well, it takes a lot of practice, obviously, and like my father was saying, actually, like having this plan B is actually a very good idea. Like for example, I tried and didn't succeed, but yeah, practice and taking it seriously and having fun, I think, is the most important thing. Philip played for fun, and he had a lot of fun, and like when he started playing it seriously, like he had a lot of background, and eventually we created teams to go to events, and like if you're losing all your games and not actually performing, like stop trying. I mean, Philip always was a quick learner. He was always smart, and we could see it in advance that he had what it took. you know, I have always known he would go pro, and
Do you think that part of him having fun was because you could do it together as a family?
well, I knew Philip was better than me when he was actually helping his team, and I was funneling goal to myself. And but it was actually a nice idea to think that we could go pro together, and when we played events together, it was actually a big hype train. But yeah, he was actually more of a team player, and league is a team game. So
Yeah. Francois, what was your role when they played events together? Were you just the driver of the car, or did you hang around and watch them play?
I was more or less the Hubert of the family. That was it. I was not part of the event. No.
Did you? And obviously, you were the financer of all the equipment as well.
I would say no. I would say that the guys had to finance themselves the esports stuff. Yeah, I
Oh,
was very rude.
no, that's great because it teaches obviously the value of money. How did you go about funding your esports love, Sebastian?
how we would found our esports.
Yeah, how did you fund it? Yeah, if your dad's saying that he made you like buy your equipment and stuff.
Well, we use to work and we just kept the money only to spend on buying new computers and new screens and new desktops, and yeah, like all our money went to that because our only goal was actually becoming better and playing the game. And at the time we were competing on the first player that would get the highest rank, and for a time was me in season 3, but eventually Philip surpassed me. And yeah, whenever we had time, we would go on and play, and we would create teams and practice for lands, and yeah, all
Yeah.
the money went for that.
How often like did you play? Did you play every day for a few hours or more
Yeah.
than that?
Whenever Francois will let us, we will play like for a time we would play 2-3 hours a day, and whenever there was an event nearby in Montreal or a university event, we would subscribe to it and go play. And yeah.
That's fantastic. So, just before we finish, is there anything you'd like to say to Phil before the weekend? Any words of encouragement or anything like that?
Yeah. Philip, just destroy them, bro.
Yeah,
What about you?
Philip, we are 100% sure that they're gonna win. They're gonna win it for sure. He is part of a tier 1 team. We are super proud of him being part with Cloud9, and that's a dream team for him in LA. So we are 100% positive about his win this weekend.
Fantastic, and I feel exactly the same as well. They're absolutely going to smash it. So, I just wanted to say thank you to you, the Laflamme family, for joining me today. Thank you to Puma and AT&T for supporting the show, and I wanted to say thank you to you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.